Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Con Tower. This is Hachi. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Con Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. Hurrah! What's going on, everybody? This is the field op. It is not combat vet vision like you see on your screen. It's just one of them weeks. Oh, thank God that it is Baby Friday, everybody. What's going on? Oh, well, we got a really good show, but before we get started, I like to give you my little preface in regards to the show. Hey, this is a great show, and we're all about not just Second Amendment, like I've been saying on all of them, which is the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms, which I am all about. Yeah, get some. But also First Amendment in regards to freedom of speech, freedom to gather, and all the other things that are covered under the First Amendment. So if you like what you hear, me bumping my lips with this sexy ass accent, then don't forget to like and subscribe, follow, share this show with everybody else like a joint at a party. And if you don't like it, hey, like I said, you have the right to also move on, swipe left, and go somewhere else. Listen to other podcasts, maybe on Sitch Radio. I don't know, Combat Vet Vision. That's another good podcast. I'm just saying, we have a plethora of great shows right there at sitchradio.com. Anyways, we getting back to the show. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of exit strategies. And here's the other thing. I am not a financial advisor. Neither is my guest. These are just things that, by my own research and the things that I've done, that we will talk about on this show today. But in the end, you got to make your own decisions. You got to do your own research and do what's best for you. But it doesn't matter. Prepare, because just a regular 9 to 5 is not going to cut it. So with that being said, my guest today is Charvetz Scott, or Shaw, as we used to call him back in Japan when him and I started hanging out. He's a retired gunner sergeant extraordinaire. Yet, get some. Let's bring that ass onto the show and start talking about this.
What's up, home skillet? How you doing?
What's up, brother, man? How you been?
Oh man, life in Okinawa is like I'm on an island. What can go wrong?
Yeah, well, I don't know, typhoons, a bunch of tsunamis, earthquakes, shit,
No, it's all about the adventure. Hell, that just makes it exciting, home.
No, I know. That's kind of like that's like the spice right there. A little bit of Goya seasoning on the food. You know what I mean?
Yep. So it's been a minute, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Just another, getting ready for the weekend. So for me, maybe I'll ride my bike. Maybe, I don't know, I'll go shoot some shit with my brother. Exercise my rights, First Amendment and Second Amendment as well.
Dude, that's why we're here. That's what we fight for. So, do whatever it takes or whatever it is that makes you feel good.
Yeah, man. So, hey, but with that being said, tell my audience a little bit about your military career, man. How, who you with, and who were you?
Well, okay, a little bit about me and my Marine Corps history. Started out years ago. Started out in the dispersing field, so I was one of the bean counters, the travel clerk. I believe, what was it back then, 34, 31. Then from there, like everybody else, when it came time to re-enlist, couldn't re-enlist back into my MOS, so I had to choose something else. And from there, I became an 0411, the MEMS guy. So, to some people, I was their best friend. To some people, they were like, "Look, dude, go away. Just get me my parts, damn it." And after that, retired here in Okinawa. Punched out from MCS Fatima. The base that they've been closing for the last 20 years, and it's probably
goddamn,
it's 20 years.
Yeah, whatever happened to what is it, a 2025, whatever. Jesus Christ! But go on, bro.
Dude, our kids will be retired and that base will freaking still be there.
No
So, so nowadays, you know, as far as daily employment, you know, I'm a GS employee. So never really left the military family. I just kind of hang around the fringes nowadays. I'm still connected, still doing what I have to do so that later on in life I can do what other people can't do. So there is a method to the madness.
Right. No, and there's got to be, and to some degree, we have to have some type of plan. You know, and just hearing on your background, which it makes a lot of sense that, you know, in regards to the topic of today, but also that just kind of ties in everything together as I've known you. I mean, having a dispersing background, and you doing all and the things that we've talked about in the past about investing, you know, exit strategies, so on and so forth. That makes sense. I mean, it kind of wraps up you as a whole. To me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, no shit, dispersing. I mean, the dude is that was, and you know, even in the MIMS, the maintenance management field, that is, you know, you're not counting monies, you're counting assets, which is rolling stock as a whole. You know, in regards to motor pool or what was it they call the ramp in the track in the track field, and so that shit that makes sense, man. So, but how did we get to know one another? How did we meet?
It was in this little place on a small hill called freaking Mount Fuji. And I was there as a civilian, as a GS civilian. You were there as a, you know, as the chief warrant officer. Hoorah, go get them. And I'm not sure exact. Well, we had no choice. Our paths had to cross, and then from there, we just day by day, bit by bit, we built the friendship. We found out we both rode motorcycles.
Yeah.
And you know, your motorcycle's parked outside my house down in freaking Mishima. And we're hitting the twisties up on Mount Fuji. So I think that's kind of how we got started. That's my memory.
Yeah.
What have you got?
No, yeah, because you were the because obviously I like to ride motorcycles, and you were the safety person on the station, as well as the motorcycle safety program. And I just got from, you know, Pendleton 372, and I was the motorcycle person over there. And, you know, thank God that Daryl, may he rest in peace. I still can't believe that motherfucker's gone.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, who says to you, "Hey, man, I know you like to ride bikes. I got this other bike on my house. If you can make it run, it's yours for the time that you're here." And I was like, "Okay, shit."
That's a deal.
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck," you know. So, and then I had it. I brought it down to my Japanese guys, right there at the bottom of the hill, and I went on leave for Christmas while I was working on that bike, and then I came back and that bitch was fixed. I was like, and then after I was just like, you know, a mini keg of Heineken and 2 pizzas, and these dudes, and then hey, now that I can say it, I was like, hey, go ahead and take next Friday off. them dudes love me. I mean, I can't say it now. I mean, I can say it now. I couldn't say that shit back then because Colonel K would have had my ass.
Yeah. We had to account for working hours.
Right. So, but yeah, man. I mean, it's great to have you. And I know over the years we've remained in touch, and we've talked. I mean, one of the things that we've always talked about, which is the show for today, is, I mean, you've been heavily invested. I mean, you've been working on things for a long time. So tell me about some of the assets and the things that you've built within your wealth, and why is building that wealth or an exit strategy important?
Okay, so if I kind of go back a little bit farther than necessary, but I'm gonna come forward. So, you know, I was a disperser, you know, I was a MIMS guy, then of course, you know, finished my military career, and, you know, always trying to get into the workforce or, you know, find the next job, but lacking a college degree. You know, you always came up choice number 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So the irony of it is, with that background, and then I go to college and end up with my master's in business. And one of the things that I was looking at for me, that I was looking at as I was going through my master's program, everything they were teaching me was how to be a participant in someone else's company. You know, that was one of the things that really stood out to me in obtaining my master's in business. And started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, you're doing all of this to tell me how great I can be for somebody else. And I was like, wait a minute, why can't I be this great for myself? And so
Yeah.
I think I just kind of looked at things a little bit differently than my other classmates, because they were like, yeah, I'm gonna get a new job. I'm gonna get a new job. I'm like, wait a minute, why don't I go make a company and have somebody else getting a job? Kind of like that Robert Kiyosaki philosophy. Why do A students work for C students? Okay, so I'm like, okay, you know, because I'm a little weird up here. And then from there, I started looking at the things around me differently. So I went into the world. Let me see. Well, first I ran a music company here in Japan on Okinawa. So I always knew I wanted to have something, but I just had to learn along the way. So I ran a music company for a few years. Then from there on, I ended up in Hawaii. Again, listening, stuff on the radio, Robert Kiyosaki, learned how to build wealth, through real estate. So I go to a Robert Kiyosaki course. Now, here's the thing. The course was free, but it cost me $500 to get out of it because, I signed up for the next class. Then from there, I do that, go through that program, go to the next class, and that class cost me $2,000, go to that next free class, and it's cost me $2,000 to get out of that one. But at the same time, I'm still learning. I'm getting exposed to other people, especially in our community, other retirees that weren't working for anybody. And so I would go out and I become a real estate investor, start acquiring properties using other people's money, because that's what they taught me how to do. And we'll come back to that, because
we'll come back to that shit.
What people think money is not what it is. We think it is what it is based on what we've been taught, not the way it actually operates.
Yes.
And so that same group of people there, they were like, Shaw, do you still look at different ways of making money? I'm already impressed. I'm like, dude, you taught me how to make money using other people's money. What else do you have? And so I continue my entrepreneurial adventure, and I start getting into global services. So I provide services on a global scale around the country. And I was always interested in this thing called residual income, because we have residual bills. I'm not going to get into the years, but we've been paying the same bills forever. Our parents paid them, we pay them, my kids are going to pay them. I'm like, okay, how do I monetize that process? And so then from there, I jumped into that environment. Then from that environment, I jumped into, just like a lot of other people out there, I also exist in the crypto market. I also, I used to exist in the stock market, but the more I learned about it, the more I said, well, okay, maybe I need to be a part of what is coming. We hear these words, industry disruptors, and we look at them on the internet, we see them on the paper, they're nice flowery words. But when you see what they are, you're like, oh crap, the world is changing, and just maybe I need to change with it. So that's kind of like my story of where I'm at today. And it's all about, for me, my phrase is, if your money doesn't wear tennis shoes, you're wearing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. So 8, 9, 10 hours a day to make money. How about having your money work 8 to 10 hours a day to make money for you? And so I just started practicing that philosophy.
No, I think you said a lot of great things, and you're right. Your money has to work for you, and not, I think, lack of knowledge. And when we have things like this at our at our hands, computer basically right there at the with the touch of your hands. Excuse me. We're a little bit smarter, or to some degree, we're more empowered and educated than our parents were. We've been programmed the wrong way from the research. So in the last, I think I had an awakening, especially in the last 2 years. I had a little bit of time and do some research and look on YouTube and just kind of kill time in an educated manner. Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff is great, but it's brain candy. Whereas it's like time filler, and you just waste time. So why not waste time constructively on YouTube? And I just started following and researching some of these guys. And Robert Kiyosaki was. I knew about Robert Kiyosaki a while ago, and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which, by the way, a lot of people don't know that is a fictional book. It's not. There wasn't such a thing, but the premise of it makes you think, in the sense that, hey, just one thing, precondition or myth number one. Hey, in order to go to school, kids, you have to, in order to make money, you have to go to school, get a degree, get a loan, blah blah blah, whatever, and you're going to work for a great company that, after you're paying 20, 30 years of your life in it, they're going to take care of you. Wrong. There's a
totally agree.
There's a huge shortage right now. Mike Rowe, who I love the dude, from Dirty Jobs, and he's got the way I heard it, his own podcast. There's a huge shortage right now on blue collar and technical careers, masons, welders, you know in the construction industry, or anything along those lines. These kids, because I used to do construction safety. These kids, the ones that are in it, they're getting paid over $100 an hour, because there's a shortage across the U.S. right now. Because nobody wants to be a truck driver anymore. Nobody wants to do all these things. So,
okay, we're around the same age group. Remember that thing that disappeared within the school system called Votech? Was that other complex that was next to the school?
Yes.
Okay, I just had to throw that out there.
No, you're 100% right. We've conditioned our kids to say, hey, go to IT, go do this. Money. Here's myth number two. That money's money's bad. Money cannot buy you happiness. I'm sorry. It may not buy you happiness, but I'd rather wipe my tears with a couple of hundreds and shit, and like, oh my God, my Corvette, my Ferrari is not working right now. My world sucks. Then rather say, fuck, how am I going to feed my kids tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, things like that we've been preconditioned, like you mentioned during when you were when you were saying everything you were saying earlier, that, now we can, we're a little bit smarter, and, it's never too late. So, and you're right, your money, investing, diversifying, and, buying into things like up and coming things. Cryptocurrency. People are I remember 2018, there was memes and all kind and oh, it's crazy, don't do it, whatever. Let me tell you, it's, some people are laughing right now, like, ha ha ha, I was right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you're right. Having all these things working for you, it's passive income is the key shit. That, hey, you know what? While I'm doing this, I know I'm getting those residuals, and I know you built, you're heavily invested not only on that, but you also have, real estate yourself. What have you learned? What's the one thing that attract when you start going through these courses like Robert Kiyosaki, and tell us about some of the things, like what do you mean by using other people's money? Because I know people want to know about that.
Okay. Well, first of all, we need to understand that money is not money. It's just a bunch of zeros and ones. So, those days are gone. If you think it's backed by something, again, you drank the Kool-Aid that the government sent to us, and it's like, oh crap, there was no sugar in that Kool-Aid. So, using other people's money, here's the deal: you have good debt, you have bad debt. That's
Tell
number
me about
one.
that. Preach on.
So you have to understand the two. Going down to the PX or going out to Walmart or wherever and buying that freaking 82-inch screen on credit, that's bad debt. Taking that same money that you were going to use to buy that TV, why not take that and use that as earnest money to lock up a property so that you can purchase it and then turn around? If you buy a turnkey property, great. If you buy one that you have to put some sweat equity into, okay, great. But you've done that. So now, once you put that back on the market, you're generating $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month, which now gives you enough profit margin to pay back the debt, and you keep what's left over. That's your money. So that's what we call good debt. Now, the kicker to that is, here's what a lot of people miss. The government incentivizes you borrowing money to grow a business.
Yes.
That's kind of backwards, isn't it? Well, the government, no, what the government wants is for you to borrow money. You have to borrow that money in such a way that where you have enough profit margin to where you're able to pay your debt, take the leftover, and then go pry in that Ferrari.
Exactly. You're right.
So,
And
go ahead.
no. I was going to say that, yeah, and the great thing is that in regards to good debt and bad debt, we want immediate gratification, the TV, the badass car, the Bentley, the this, that, or whatever. I don't want to pick on young troops, Lance Corporal, PFCs, whatever, but okay, let's just say younger people as a whole, and even some adults. I just made this. I'm gonna go buy me, the car that I always wanted. And it's like, dude, you drive that thing right off the lot. It's not. You just depreciated 40%. And I don't want to throw my kid on. My son said, "Hey, I've never had a brand new car. I want to buy this." And I was like, "Son, why don't you delay that gratification with 3% down as a brand new homeowner? All you need is 3% down. So if the house is worth, $90,000, all you need is just to put down, the incentive is 3% down, rent. And if it's a 4-bedroom house, rent each room $500, $700. And then now if it's 3 bedroom, 2 of them are paying your mortgage and you're living home for free. And, 1 year from then, or 2 year, or a year or two later, do a cash out refinance on the house, take out that equity. Now you have $60,000 if the house, if it went up. Then you could take those $60,000 and put it down to another property. And a year later, you could keep doing that. And debt is not non-taxable.
Yeah. And see, that word that you use, delayed gratification. And I've encountered this with a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of people I work with. And they stumble, fall, and they get the bruise mark on their forehead because they're looking for that return in the next 10, 15, 30 days. I mean, here's my belief. Fast money comes in, fast money goes out just as quickly as it came in. Now, I will do things and I'll run the 180-day, I'll run the 365-day cycle with that investment or with that opportunity, because I know everything from that point on is continual. It doesn't stop. So many people are caught up on the one-time payout instead of the long-term payout.
No, exactly. There are things, don't get me wrong, cryptocurrency, for example, it's been good to me. Assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and just hear me out, because I know we're talking about real estate and this and that, but I'm just saying that those could be, those 2 years ago I invested on it. It's done good for me. And but you also have the high risk coins like Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, all these things that it's a risk. But if you take a calculated risk, when that thing, it booms and you hit it right, it peaks, you're in, you're out like a thong in a fat chick. How many are going to cancel me for making that comment nowadays? But I'm just saying, but you make your money and you're out. There are those high risk things that are going to pay out right then and there. But just like anything, there has to be some type of sweat, like you said, sweat equity. Same thing with when you're buying this real estate, you got to buy and hold regardless of the market, because right now, yes, the bubble's going to burst like everybody's been saying, but rates are not going to come down. Mortgage rates are not going to come down, or house prices are not going to come down. So in an economy where there's right now we're we're on not a recession. What is it that we're going inflation period right now? Sorry about that. I just kind of lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
The great thing about inflation is that rent goes up. So you as a real estate owner who have rental units, you just raise the rent and you're still good, because once that you over that bump, your money is there physically. You can see that shit, 4 walls, brick and mortar, right there. That's my money. It's not going to go anywhere. People are always going to need houses, and people are always they're always going to rent. So either way, you can sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm with you there, and it was going to go back to a word here called risk tolerance, and it's kind of like what you said earlier that triggered this comment. Um, you have things that will generate immediate returns, and you have things that you have to be in for the long-term return. But here's the kicker: are you investing based on emotion, or are you investing based on logic and research? Two big things. I mean, the market out there, whether it's the stock market, whether it's the crypto market, both of those markets are volatile, even though they like to say crypto is more volatile than the traditional stock market. It's not. It's just as volatile.
Right.
But is your decision made on research or emotion? And that's where a lot of people get in trouble. You can't go read Fox, MSN, NBC, or whatever, and just depending on what the newest headline is, have that being your trigger for a buy decision. Okay, what's the 1 year? What's the 3 year? What's the 5 year? What's the 7 year history of that particular item? And then you make your decision based on what it's projected to do, instead of, oh, my friend said, okay, has your phrase that I'm caught up on, who do you listen to? Your friend said that this is going to be great. Okay, what credibility does your friend have? Does your friend already have the physical, tangible evidence that his or her decisions produce this outcome? Or are they just saying something that they heard from their uncles, sisters, cousins, nephews, brother that lives in another? No, bullshit. Show me how this is going to generate me a return based on X, Y, Z.
Right. And in the end, you have to do your own research. When I was getting into crypto back in 2018, it appealed to me because I'm not saying I'm a super techie guy, but that it's all about progression and change. I mean, it just makes sense that at some point in time in a day and age, again, we pay with everything. With this thing, you just click, boop. It's, even though I'm just saying that I remember that back in the day when you and me were in Japan, you were paying with your phone back in 2010. I mean, and the U.S. it took the U.S. I don't know, like another 7-8 years to catch on that shit. But I'm just saying that's the way ahead. It appealed to me, but I did my own research to the point where I was staying late up at night and finding out, okay, how do I convert this type of crypto into this other one using the resources. So in the end, it's like you said, you have to do your own research and see, and then also believe that, hey, this is this is going to be something that's going to pay off. My hard work and effort is going to pay off in the end. Because I've given advice before, but I always follow it. Hey, don't take my word for it. Do your own research as well, because I don't want to be like, hey man, you told me to invest in this shit and I lost my ass. I'm like, well, okay, well, did you, what homework did you do? Or did you just take my word as gospel? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of like that disclaimer you put out up front. I am not a financial advisor. Don't claim to be, never will claim to be. That's not the road I want to go down. But as far as diversification and being a part of the industry disruptors. So when I spoke of being a global service provider, yes, I am a professional network marketer, because guess what? For some people, it's really great. For some people, it really sucks. But it depends on what you're willing to do to achieve or acquire or to move forward in certain areas. So when we talk about what's available, that click, moving from the world of brick and mortar to click and order, this is 2022. You have to be a part of that, because guess what? We see it every day. A lot of these traditional businesses, they're not going out of business. They're just shifting with the market. As long as we have, I'm a hold mine up this time, but as long as Amazon has already set the pace. You can order damn near anything you want on your phone and have it delivered to your door. Okay, I do the same thing with services, but that works for me and it works for other people, but it won't work for some. And now we're going to drift off into this comment of what is your ability to change and your ability to learn. So if you don't have those two, you can't be a part of all the other things that are taking place.
No, exactly. It's either you learn and evolve, or you get left behind. You know, and then, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. If you have, I mean, you know, if you don't want to build your wealth, you're good, you're comfortable where you're at. Good on you. You know, and it's like this. It's, you know, I'll hold mine up. Okay, how good are you gonna be on this? I mean, you know, when you have, it's the whole thing. Hey, grandson, can you unfuck my phone because of XYZ? I can't get into. You know what I mean? No, dude. And I'm not picking on, you know, people who don't know how to use phones, but it's like it's your phone, it's your device. You got to get with the times, because you're not gonna have somebody always there helping you out or whatever. Same thing with technology and progression and investing. You got to get with the times, and you got to get on board, because if you're taking investing 100%, you know, if you buy into it, the old ways is not going to work. Stocks, the regular stock market, it's not, you know, it's not going to work. There are other avenues to make your monies and wear sneakers. And it's great that, you know, you mentioned earlier, you know, let's talk a little bit about, you know, because we're kind of limited on time, but I do want to touch on the company that you know, on the way you've had a lot of success, because you're right. Your company and the services that you provide, I mean, you make money on cell phone services, you make money on gas and electric and all those things. I mean, things that we utilize every day. You just have, hey, you know, just go right here. Oh, you need a cell phone? Hook, you know, go right here. And I mean, you get a chunk out of that every month, a residual on that about. So just tell us a little bit about it.
Well, basically, I specialize in essential services in the residential and the business space, because how do I say this lightly? Everybody wants to be in the limelight, you know, and, you know, have that 5, 10, or 15 minutes of fame. I've always loved being the guy behind the curtain, because that's where the long-term money comes in. So you figure, you don't need to give me your age. You've been paying for cell phone service for how many years? Don't give me the exact number. Yeah, right. But it's been a while, right?
Yeah.
So whatever company you're partnered with, I mean, do you know they already plan and schedule their profit and loss margins based on how many subscribers they have? And that profit margin, they also predict what they can acquire in the future, because you're never going to give up your cell phone because you need that service. Internet.
Yeah.
Who's giving up their Netflix because they have to get through the weekend, then we come back? What is Netflix? Netflix is a subscription service. Everything is moving toward that direction. No one wants you to pay one time anymore, because that's only a one-time payment. Let's look at Netflix. Let's look at the Disney Channel, your internet, Amazon Prime, everything. Microsoft and its 360, or, you know, all of the new software programs that we have out there. Everything is on a subscription basis, because that's enduring revenue. I just exist in that same space with the things that people need and are going to use every day for the rest of their lives. I just participate in that space like all of the big companies do, without the big company overhead. And a lot of people say, well, Charvetz, that's illegal. No, it's not. It's just you don't understand what I'm saying, because you don't think it's possible. But it's been possible for decades.
What would you tell as an advice to Lance Coconut, Charvetz Scott, as far as investing and stuff?
The first thing I would tell Lance Corporal Coconut is, like, look, I know you think I'm the old guy. I think you know more than I do, but I'm going to tell you this. Take a little bit of your money right now. And this is going to sound contradictory, but I'm going to come back to it. Take a little bit of your money, put it in the bank every payday. Start building you a nest egg so that you can take that and invest in something larger later. Because I still don't believe in using banks, because, you know, savers are losers, because It's all about the bank making money, not you. But that's
Yeah,
another subject.
0.07 return annually. Fuck you.
So that's what I would tell him is like, get started, make your first purchase. First thing you do, own your own company. You can go on multiple websites and start up an LLC. Because here,
Yes.
you have to have your own company to move forward. You need your job to pay for the necessities, electricity, light, car, blah, blah, blah. Your own business will build you your fortune in your future. That would be my response to Lance Corporal Coconut.
And you get, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, Lance Coconut Korea, I would say the same thing. Is your staffing, my staffing CEOs were right. Hey, put some money on this here, even on the thrift savings plan or whatever, one of those savings things, because you could borrow that money from them at no, especially from the TSP with no penalties, none whatsoever. Again, and then you can invest that money and have it work for you, among other things. But yeah, and also open your own business. You could do it for free on your own, which I have, or you can use LegalZoom like I have in the past as well. Mm-hmm. And you get to reap the tax benefits of owning your own business on paper, and then put everything. If you don't want to have a footprint, you can put everything under that LLC. So basically, you don't own shit, but you manage it all. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm going to give you a phrase from one of my business coaches. Real special guy and retired Navy chief from the day he walked off his ship over at Pearl Harbor. He's never worked for anyone since. Own nothing, but control everything.
Exactly.
And it took me a while to understand that statement because I kept hearing it. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Your company owns everything. You manage the company, which means you control everything that goes on. Like in your words, you like the footprint. Yeah, you don't have a footprint because your company owns everything and you enjoy all of the incentives, write-offs that the government gives you for owning a company. Because exactly. you know that there are 3 different tax laws, correct?
Right. Yes.
Most people don't even know that. So once you understand that, it's time to move up from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 so that you enjoy other incentives that are provided by our favorite Uncle Sugar to help you grow a business.
Exactly. 100% right, bro. Hey, man, our time is kind of short, but can we come back and talk a little bit more about this?
Bro, I have no problem with it. Just make sure you ship some coffee over here because it's 3 o'clock your time. Hell, it's 6 o'clock, and I had to get up at 6 o'clock to clean the face, do the hair, and all that other stuff just to be here by 7.
Hey, man, where can people go and find you? Hey, here's your 30-second cheap promo, man. So hey, get it out there because I want people to find out more about you and about the side hustles that you got going.
Okay, so I'm real easy to find out on Facebook. You can find me out there. You'll see me, Charvetz Scott. Just go out there, hit me a hi, hello. I'll talk to you from there. Same thing in Messenger. I'm out on Instagram. Okay, that's a good question. You can tell how much I do that. Who am I out on Instagram? You can find me the same way, Charvetz Scott. Over here in Japan, I exist online. It's kind of like what Facebook is to the US. Over here, if you don't have Line, you don't exist. And I'm on the other platforms, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, same name. I don't hide anything. Just look me up. You'll find me.
Okay. And what I'll do is I'll also, if anybody here is interested in finding out more about residual income and what Shah has to offer and what he's been doing, feel free and look it up. I myself, I'm very interested as well. I did miss the ship a few years back, but I'm back in it, trying to see. And because bottom end is there's never a right time. And just like when there's never a right time to have kids. There's never a right time, you just analyze the risk and fucking jump into it. You know what I mean? But, brother, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your service. I love you. You've been a great friend. You've been a great mentor in the safety field as well. And, thanks, man. Thanks for always being there.
Bro, same thing back to you, even though we haven't seen each other a lot over the years, we've kept in touch because that's what friends do. And that's also part of the brotherhood, not just the Marine Corps, but the military, Air Force, Army, Navy. it's about the relationships and who we are. So from Okinawa, I send you much love. I send you much aloha. Let's continue to do great things.
Hi, arigato gozaimasu.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. I just want to, so I'll post Shah's links and information on there if you're interested about finding out about it. But before I go, I like to end up with, and I'll even put myself out there transparent. Yes, you might have noticed that from last week's show that I was a little bit out of it. I have been going through something, and I was in a really dark spot. I'm being transparent because I do live with PTSD and the other things. So I reached out to my network, to my friends and family, my resources, and they provided support like I needed it. So things are all good. And if you're having issues, reach out to me, reach out to your support system, VA, Military One Source, all those folks, but reach out. I mean, shit, in the end, you want to talk, let me be your last phone call and let's have a conversation, because in the end, everything does have a solution, because even if we're getting overwhelmed. But we're going to get the index right over here. With that being said, I'm going to say, "Ara, get some," and I'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.